Whether it's the great entertainers or the great business people or the great spiritual teachers in the world, they all had a focus on what they wanted to see. They stayed with that vision. That's what they valued. That's what they lived. And that's what came about in their experience. And the incredible gifts that we all received from those people when they saw the world they wanted to see and walked it and lived it, became it, literally had it become their inner picturings and out picturing of the world. Today, it's A Course in Miracles, lesson 130. It's impossible to see two worlds. How much are you focused on and visioning and imagining and feeling that which you really want to see, the world you want to live in, the world you choose? How do you see the world you choose to see? And with releasing, with release to results, we're letting go of all the energy that has us imagining and thinking about and seeing what we don't even really consciously want to see. We're clearing the unconscious programs, those unconscious values. We're bringing them to the surface, letting them go, and allowing ourselves to choose the values we want to be focused on, choose these things we want to have come into the world. And that's available for you. Every single time you're releasing what you no longer are going to be carrying into the world and releasing the resistance to and allowing what you really choose to see in the world you want to see, it's making an unimaginable, indescribable impact on all that is. So what this lesson is saying is, if you're not seeing those things that you want to see, if you're not choosing the world that you want to see, you're caught up in and valuing things based on fear, focused on things we're afraid of. And therefore, we're seeing that in the world. If we can let go of these things that we're afraid of and the resistance to the things we enjoy, what's here for us, God's will for us, is perfect happiness. Those things that you allow yourself to be happy with. Watch how the world changes. Watch how you no longer are seeing two worlds, one where there's happiness and one where there's sadness, one where there's joy and one where there's anger, one where there's innocence and one where there's guilt. Watch what happens for you as we release the world we don't want to see and allow for an experience of the world we choose to see. Let's begin releasing. So, what do you choose to see? What is the world you choose to see? What lights you up? Now you can choose to see anything. So just take anything that you choose consciously now to see in the world. What do you value? Is it love? Is it happiness? What is it? Ease, effortlessness, freedom? And then could you take a look at any resistance to seeing that now? Choosing to focus on something other than that. It's quite likely unconscious. Could you open that up and see what have you been putting your eyes upon, your focus on, the incredible power of your mind on, other than what you consciously would choose to see in the world today? And this isn't to reinforce it. This is to let it go. So could you first just acknowledge anything you've been choosing to focus on, unconsciously or consciously, that's not the world you want to see? And could you allow yourself to let that thought, those images, those scenes drift by, and notice any energy that's there in your field, a feeling, whether it's labeled or not. And could you let that feeling come to light? Just bringing up that energy, opening to stuff that might have been stuck there. Simply witnessing the energy of what you don't choose to see any longer. Feeling it and letting it go. Could you let this energy go and the world you're no longer choosing to see? Would you let this energy go and the world you're no longer choosing to see? Would you let that go? When could you let go of this world you don't want to see? And notice that energy lightens, shifts, or goes. If you become enlightened, if it still feels stuck or dark, it's okay. It takes what it takes. And are you conscious? What do you really value? What do you really choose in this world we're in? Ease, happiness, joy, innocence, freedom. What do you value if you're conscious about it? If you could choose to see any of these things in the world? And what have you been choosing other than that? Can you notice the values that you might have been carrying unconsciously that would obscure what you really choose to see? Fearful situations, guilting, separation, better than and worse than. Anything that comes up for you, lack, doubt, anxiety, worry. Just taking any situation that you've been seeing that you no longer choose to see, how does it feel when you are looking upon that in the world? When you're thinking about that, could you go behind the scenes and notice the energy on that frequency of that which you do no longer? And could you begin to wash that away and lighten it by just letting it up out of the unconscious, noticing this energy in the field, feeling that, opening the door so that energy can move. And could you begin releasing that energy? You already are releasing it if you're allowing it up, just bringing it to light. Would you release the world you no longer choose to see? And that frequency, that energy, that vibration on that channel. When could you release the world you no longer choose to see? It is impossible to see two worlds. Could you notice the world you really would choose to see? Love and its perceptions. What values would you have in your world? Trust, joy, acceptance, ease. What world do you choose to see? What do you value? And what will you see in the world? And what could obscure that, but valuing something else that would have you not seeing that world? The fears, worries, and anxieties. Are you valuing those above what you would choose? The guilt, the self disparagement, the wronging of yourself or others. Is that valuable, or has it seemed that way? Just noticing anything that in your unconscious you've been putting before the world you would consciously choose to see. And could you notice how that feels just for a moment of eternity, allowing this feeling to come up so it can go? Could you be the light and enlighten that energy, dissipate it just by letting it unstick and move? Letting that feeling be there. It cannot touch you. Nothing to hide. And could you let go of that feeling, that darkness? Be enlightened. Would you let go of valuing the world you no longer choose to see? When could you let go and let yourself value what you consciously choose to see and see it? The world you choose. And so, could you allow yourself now to have conscious focus and choosing of the world you want to see, the world you choose to see? For what you value, you will choose to see, you will see. So, anything that you consciously value, abundance, ease, effortlessness, love, innocence, wholeness, holiness, heaven, God. And could you allow yourself to value that, to see that in the world? And can you stay with it? What is more important than this? Is there anything more valuable than this which you have chosen now? And could you allow yourself to let that energy move? How does it feel when you're focused on what you've chosen? to be seeking and finding that which you've put on your map, on your compass. If you're moving in that direction, what could stop you? Nothing. Could you allow yourself to see the world you choose to see and stay there? Now, well done. If anything else comes up other than what you truly value, what you truly will see in your world, what you choose, that's okay. Could you just let it up? Let up that energy behind it, behind all those images and values of the past, that old programming, and just let it come up and let it go. And find yourself more and more in the ease and joy of the world you choose to see. It's always available to you. Well done releasing. Thanks for joining us this morning.